Manufactured War on Terror. And his movie, documentary, 911 in Plain Sight, was the very first credible documentary that was put together in this arena. And now his new documentary, the 911 Ripple Effect, is a whole head and shoulder above. Please help me give a warm hand of welcome to the master of the ceremonies of this event and your next speaker, Mr. Dave vonKleist.
I could take off my name tag. I think I got it memorized now, so I won't have to use that. Okay, we are having a little bit of a glitch here, and can't seem to get what's on my computer on the screen. So as I started, before Paymon came up, I said, hey, I'm a musician, I'm good at improvising. So I may have to do some very serious improvising, because I was going to show you some clips from the 9/11 Ripple Effect video, and also some new information that seems to be, shall we say, wafting across the country as we speak. But Ted was mentioning that there are a lot of folks out there that are suffering attacks on the internet. Isn't it funny how they say, you know, if you're not catching flack, you're not over the target? How many folks have heard some of the information or misinformation or disinformation or whatever about some of the folks out there that talk about certain subjects about September 11th shouldn't be talking about those subjects? Go ahead, hold the hands up and take a look around. Okay, I'd say at least half of the crowd here is holding their hands up. How many of you heard that, we've got enough information about controlled demolitions that you shouldn't be talking about flashes and pods because it's going to discredit the rest of the stuff. Anybody talks about that must be some sort of a government agent trying to take away from the good information. How many of you have heard that argument? Raise your hands. About a quarter of you. Okay. Well, if somebody says to me, you shouldn't be talking about something, I'm going to talk about it. Not only am I going to talk about it, I'm going to put it on little postcards, and I'm going to give them away. Watch your eyeballs, folks. Watch your eyeballs. I don't want to poke anybody. You poke your eye out, okay? I don't want that to happen. Watch your eyes. There you go. I got that. Nailed that guy. Here you go. Here's one for you, okay? I'm going to, hey, over there, he wants one. Okay, look out. Hey! Oh, well, okay. I got him at the table. So if you don't get one, there you go. I got it to you. All right. All right, let me see if I can get somebody else. You in the back. Here you go. Whoa! Here, try again. Here. Oh. Okay, one more. All right. We got more back there. Don't worry about it. Going to have some fun. And meanwhile, they're going to dump all my programs in my computer. I've got stuff open down here I don't want to close. So.
No, and that's what I'm looking at. You don't want to close it?
No, I don't want to close it. That's all. That's the presentation. He already closed it. No, okay, all right.
I was checking to make sure, but we may have to.
I'll tell you, I made the switch over to Macintosh about a year ago, and it's so true. Once you go Mac, you don't want to go back. Macintosh is pretty cool. But anyway, I'm not here to promote Mac versus PC. You know, it's just that their machine isn't reading a Mac. So anyway, what I was saying here is that there are folks out there that don't want certain topics discussed. Now, again, how many folks have seen 9/11 in Plain Sight? 3 years ago, came out, almost everybody. All right, how many folks have seen the new video, Ripple Effect? Okay, just a few of you. Okay. 9/11 in Plain Sight obviously created a huge controversy. And the topics that are brought up in that have been basically ignored and shunned by a lot of people, specifically the notorious dun, 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 flash, and the pod. What? Not loud enough? How's that? A little better? Okay. I control the horizontal. I control the vertical. Anyway, okay. So the flash in the pod was pretty much attacked. Believe me, I know the pressure that I came under after I came out with 9/11 in plain sight. People contacted me in the 9/11 movement, say, you can't talk about the flash in the pod. You don't know what it is. If you don't know what it is, you shouldn't talk about it. And I go, wait a minute. How are we ever going to know what it is unless we talk about it? Duh. So the more, pressure was brought to bear, say, take it out, the more made me realize I shouldn't take it out. Now, there are some other folks that started to address this, had it on their website. There was a couple of videos that came out that had that in there, but bang, they got taken right out. Now, I'm not going to say why. I can't say why. But the bottom line here is that because of the fact that I've stood my ground on this flash and pod issue, and I sure wish we could get something going here because I wanted to show you that clip. Because of that, like I said, people that have seen the 9/11 ripple effect have said it's like 9/11 in plain sight on steroids. And but to show you, basically, we try to talk about thinking, I mentioned earlier, thinking outside of the cage. Now, we're going to have a little exercise in thinking outside of the cage. Now, I want you all to participate. Group participation is mandatory. All right? Now, how many of you folks have been, shall we say, studying, watching, listening to, and hearing about the 9/11 truth movement and looking at it and stuff? How many of you folks have been questioning 9/11? Participation is mandatory. Mandatory. All right, so almost everybody. Okay. Now, because I want you to learn from each other. I'm not here to tell you anything. I'm here to help you to think about some of these things because some of these avenues of thought have been unexplored. And one of the things I want to, before I go down that avenue, the main question when it comes to September 11th, the question is, and I want you to memorize this, if the official story is a lie, then what really happened? We've all heard that question, okay? The question is two parts. If the official story is a lie, followed by, then what happened? The problem here is that too many people try to start off communicating to other people by dealing with the, then what happened? Let me tell you what really happened on September 11th. Let me tell you the truth about fill in the blank. Do you see the problem here? The American people have been spoon-fed propaganda or propaganda 24/7, 365. And the thing is you can't get them to open their minds to hear about what really happened or let me tell you the truth about unless you deal with the first part of the question. If the official story is a lie. So what we have to do is show people that the official story has some problems. Once they are convinced that the official story, and I'm not just referring to 9/11, I'm referring to all the other things. If what you've been told about the IRS is a lie, if you've been told about what the Federal Reserve is a lie, if what you've been told about 9/11 is a lie, we have to get that if in their minds. Because once the American sheeple out there have a doubt in their mind, if the official story is a lie, well, gosh, if the official story is a lie, well, then what happened? You see, you get them to ask the question, what happened? You don't just beat them, here's a DVD, this will show you what really happened about such and such. Because they're not asking the question. You can't give somebody an answer unless they ask the question. So the point is that we have to get people to ask the question because that's what opens up their minds and then they're receptive and they will take what really happened, or here's the truth about this and that. And this is the problem. Too many people are trying to shove down this information down their throat without them asking the question. This is why I put together 9/11 in plain sight the way I did. I wanted to present the video and photographic evidence and let the viewer